Okay, so now we have a program here. Prayer is always an outstanding item on the agenda. And please, I would like to encourage you not to annotate on the screen, please. It's polite, more polite to respect whatever is being shared on the screen. But this is the program that we have. We shall have brief introductions specifically of those who will be facilitating the meetings. And then I'll go through a very quick submission on what assessment is. And then we have Nazarias. Harriet, has Nazarias come in? Nazarias Turiakira will be sharing with us on what e-assessment is. And then someone from Dix, Juma, will be sharing with us on the requirements for us to participate in online assessment. Then we'll have a few minutes of chatting together and getting reactions from you. And then Dr. Siminyu will take us through what should be coming up next. So in the meantime, I would like to invite a volunteer, please, to pray. We have one of your leaders in here. Who is the name again?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please, please go ahead and pray.
Let us pray.
Yes, please go ahead. I thought I heard someone begin to pray.
Let us pray.
Thank you.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this session. We pray that you guide us as we move on. May you help us understand. May you help us. May you lead us, Holy Spirit. Pray that we have a good day and may it be fruitful. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Thank you very much. A few ground rules, please, as we start. Would like to ask that I had muted everyone. Someone has, well, if you unmute yourself to say something, please remain unmuted thereafter. A few ground rules. We're going to respect each other's views, and we'll try to be as orderly as possible. And therefore, if you want to say something, you can use the reactions tool and raise your hand, and someone will see you and invite you to say something. Alternatively, you can put your views in the chat, and we will have people looking out to see what's going on in the chat and draw that to our attention. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to today's meeting. Once again, my name is Jessica Aguti. I'm an associate professor at the Institute of Open Distance and E-Learning. I would like to invite our team leader, Dr. Harriet Nabshao, to step in for Dr. Siminyu for the introductions. And then we shall move on to the next item on the agenda. We are going to be in this meeting up to 10:30. Because thereafter we will have another meeting with another group of students. So we will try to respect time as far as possible. We're already 8 minutes behind schedule. Harriet, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Jessica, for starting us off. And to the students, you are most welcome for this training, which we are carrying out across the university. about assessment, e-assessment, generally assessment, and particularly we are focusing on e-assessment. And I hope you enjoy the training. Dr. Siminyo, who is supposed to carry on this session, is the coordinator, is the college coordinator for e-learning. I don't know whether he's coming. Sam, are you in? Are you in now?
I don't see him.
You don't see him. Okay. When he comes in, we will give him an opportunity to talk to us, and so that you can know him. However, his session was to carry out introductions. I will just do that. I don't want to talk about assessment because we have a substantive item that is going to guide us and enlighten us about assessment and e-assessment and all those things, just as you see the program before us. So we have introduced ourselves. We are coming from the Institute of Open Distance and E-Learning, and we are here to carry out this training on e-assessment. Of course, we are all aware of what is going on and what about the aftermaths of COVID-19. I'm not saying it has gone, it's still with us, but life has to continue. So we are trying to find a way of making sure that education goes on. We cannot stay for 1 year, another year sitting at home. I know that you also don't want that. So we have to find a middle line, how we can keep going. So all those strategies and suggestions that we are thinking about, we shall be sharing with you in this training. Okay, Professor Guti, Jessica Guti has introduced herself. I don't know whether she showed her video. Wait. Maybe the students would love to see you. Professor Guti is there. She's been the one who started us off. I should be she's one of the facilitators. You've seen her on the program. Thank you very much. I would also love to introduce Mr. Nazarius Turiachida. Nazarius?
Yes, Harriet.
If you
hello.
Hello, if you can say hello to the students. Okay, that is Mr. Nazarius Turiachida, one of the facilitators. Okay, you've seen him. He's going to be taking us through one of the sessions there, as you have seen on the program. The third person is Mr. Juma. He's coming from Digit. I believe you're all aware of this unit in the University Directorate of ICT. Juma, are you with us? Hello, hello, Juma. Juma is not here, not yet here. I'm going to check where he is. We will introduce him when he comes in. So Juma is from Digits. He'll be taking us through the requirements we need to participate in online assessment. And then the speaker, the one talking is Harriet Abshaw. You are welcome. And I will be handling a few reactions after the presentations have been made. And then finally, Dr. Sam Siminyo will handle the final session of Way Forward and let us know when we can have the next meeting. I don't know whether he has come in now. Sam, are you in now? Hello, Sam, are you in now? Okay, Dr. Siminyo has not yet joined us, but when he joins us, he will speak to you because he's the coordinator of CEDAT. Okay, Without wasting time, I think we should dive into our program right away, since we have another group that is speaking. I'll go ahead and invite Professor Jessica to take us through the first session on assessment. Prof, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Harriet. Good morning.
Somebody has to be muted.
I had muted everyone, but I think there are people that keep unmuting themselves. There is something I'd like to apologize for right from the beginning. The university has paid for licenses of up to 500 people. And so we are already at 499 at 500. So a lot of people are locked out in the waiting room. And we would like to apologize for that. But we would like to assure the student fraternity that this will not be the first and the last training that we shall do for CEDAT. We will work with whichever cohort we have now, and then we shall start another cycle of trainings. But also the video will be available for you to share with the rest of the student community at the college. There is nothing much we can do about the limits that the licenses permit, because that is what the government was able to negotiate for and make accessible to universities. But as an institute of open distance and e-learning, would like to apologize for locking out people that would like to come in. And now that you have seen what I look like, let me turn off my video and just quickly go through these slides. I just have 2 slides only. And Harriet, I think you may have to step in and share Dr. Sini, what Dr. Sini was supposed to handle, because he's probably been locked out by the numbers. And please help me mute everyone else. Okay, what is assessment? You have gone through assessment, you know, from the time you joined school. These days, even at kindergarten level, there is assessment, but it's really a process of trying to measure academic progress, to find out what you have learned, to determine what is it that, what was covered, what has been learned, where are the problems. So assessment is really about measuring academic progress. And we've been through this over the years. You've done tests, you've done assignments, you've done projects, you've done many things which all constitute aspects of assessment. Sometimes assessment is also diagnostic assessment, to diagnose. Is sometimes done at the beginning of a program. In some programs, they may have an entry-level quiz that you do to determine what knowledge you already have, what skills you already have, what competencies you already have before you start a new course. That is also helpful to lecturers and to students, because then the lecturer can begin to plan the best way in which to carry out teaching and learning in the course that is being handled. And when we say want to find out whether you have learned what you're supposed to learn, every program will have a goal, will have a purpose. Every course will have learning outcomes, what the lecturer or what the institution expects to be the learning outcomes of the program, in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the skills, in terms of the attitudes. And so assessment is meant to establish whether what was planned for has actually been learned. And so that is something that assessment also addresses. The other issue about assessment is that it is supposed to enable you learn. When a lecturer gives you an assignment, when a lecturer gives you a project to accomplish, it is expected that, for example, in the case of an assignment, if you're going to do research, if you're going to read through some articles, if you're going to read through some book chapters, it's expected that you'll be learning as you do research to do the assignment. If you're engaged in a project, and you're being asked to go to the community to establish maybe to determine the state of the roads in that local community, and maybe determine the soil types in the community, you are learning a number of skills, you're gaining a lot of skills, you're gaining a lot of knowledge, and you are reinforcing whatever you will have learned in the classroom setting or in your readings. So assessment, yes, is meant to measure what you have learned. It can be done to establish the entry-level knowledge, attitudes and skills and competences. It can be done to establish whether the learning outcomes that were set at the beginning of the course have been acquired or not. And then also it is meant to reinforce learning or to enable you learn. And so if you're given an assignment and you hire a mercenary to do the assignment for you, the mercenary will learn, but you will get the grade, but you will not have learned anything. So it depends on what your objective is. Do you want to pay for a paper, or do you want to pay for knowledge, for attitudes, for skills, for competencies, which you can utilize in life thereafter? So that is what assessment is all about. Now, when it comes to Makerere University, we know that assessment is part of the university regulations, and the permutations of the combinations and what exactly goes on will depend on specific programs. But as of now, for continuous assessment, the common range is between 30 to 40% for continuous assessment. And then final examinations is the 70 or 60%. And then, of course, we have project reports and dissertations that are themselves complete courses, and they take the 100%. And we know that the pass mark is 50% for undergraduates. So that is what assessment is like at Makerere University. And continuous assessment as of now is a combination of many things: the tests, the quizzes, and the lab work, the clinical work, the assignments that you take home assignments that you do, the timed tests, and the mini projects that you engage in. All this, depending on the program, constitute continuous assessment. While final examinations, we have the traditional written 3-hour examinations, then we have the oral examinations, we have clinicals, we have practical examinations, and all that, and of course the project reports and the dissertations, which are terminal in themselves. So that is what I would like to say insofar as our understanding of assessment is concerned. Back to you, Dr. Nabshao.
Thank you very much, Prof. Aguti, for taking us through the concepts of assessment. You've really elaborated it well. I know that our students have picked that one very well. So we will move to the next session to be handled by Mr. Nazarias, who is going to look at a related concept, e-assessment. Yes, Mr. Nazarias, you're welcome.
Yes, Harriet. Good morning, everybody. Harriet, can you see, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, but you're yet to You haven't shared the PowerPoint. Not.
Let me share. Okay.
And there are some people who cannot hear. If you can't hear, it might mean you did not join with your audio. And unfortunately for you, when you get out, you're likely to be locked out because there are a lot of people in the waiting room.
Okay, Harriet, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now.
And you can hear me well, eh?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, students. Welcome to this training. And we are going to, I'm just going to be building from where Prof. Jessica stopped.
Mr. Nazarius, I think you should begin with slide 3.
3?
Yes. Prof, you didn't talk about that one.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know whether you want to speak into it so that Nazarius goes straight to approaches.
Okay. Well, yeah, sorry. So, sorry, I missed this. So when we ask ourselves, what is e-assessment? This is really just assessment taking place digitally, taking place online. Assessment that is computer-based. So in our case, for example, if we are carrying out assessment and using Mwele for you to do tests, for you to do quizzes, for you to submit assignments, that would be constitute e-assessment. We're just using electronic technology and tools to both design and administer assessments. And the other beauty about, for example, working on Mwele is that there is a great book with which we can store the learners' assessment evidences. You can even submit your portfolios online. You can do the quizzes and the records will be there. And we can even use the electronic media to track students' progress. We can see how many students came online for the discussion forum, how many have submitted, how many have commented on this assignment, and so on and so forth, and then use that to provide feedback to students. And with the analytics available, we can generate all types of reports. So e-assessment is really about determining or establishing what has been learned, aiding learning, but using electronic technology. Nazarius, you can go on to slide 5 then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I was saying I'm building from where Prof has stopped, and we are going to be looking at approaches to e-assessment. And these approaches include about 4 of them. And the first one is assessment before learning. I know that we have been doing this to establish whether what you are going to learn at the beginning of this of studying. We want to assess whether you know before you start to study. Then the second one is assessment for learning, to find out whether you are learning, and we test that. We give you materials, we give you everything, and then we test to find out whether you are learning. And then there is assessment of learning to find out whether you have learned.
Nazarius?
Yes, yes. Yes, Prof.
Your sound is a little bit low. Either you are far away from your mic or your volume is too low. I don't know.
Okay, let me check. But my internet also is not all that good. Let me see.
So maybe just speak closer to your mic.
Okay. Am I clearer now? Prof, can you hear me now?
Go on, go on.
Okay. Then the third assessment is assessment of learning, to find out whether you have learned. And I think this is majorly done when we do the CATs, the continuous assessment. and then to write the final examination. And then the last one is assessment as learning, to use assessment to improve your learning. So these are some of the 4 approaches to assessment. And then there are types of assessments that we should be using in online learning. And these about 8 or 9. And we begin with the discussion blogs. And the discussion blog is basically a one-to-many that tutors will formulate these blogs, and we expect that students, when you come in, you will find materials there. You may not communicate much with your fellow students, but it will be the teachers that will be communicating to you and giving you work. And forums is another type of assessment. These discussion forums are majorly many-to-many. This is where we expect students to be coming in, and if you are given an assignment, if you are given something to discuss, we shall be having student interactions with students, and then the learning will be taking place. Whereas chats, I know that most of us have been having chats on WhatsApps. So these chats now will be brought in here to make sure that you facilitate learning. And so that's one form of assessment: discussion blogs, the discussion forums, and the chats. The second type of assessment is peer assessment. And this peer assessment involves students taking responsibility for assessing the work of their fellow students. And in most cases, when we allow the other students to review some other students' works, this is what we call peer assessment or peer review. So we encourage students to discuss, and I think this has been happening. You are given work, and then you assess each other, and at the end of the day, we expect that this assessment will have taken place. The third type is called self-assessment, and this requires the students to reflect on their own work and judge how well they have performed in relation to the assessment criteria that has been set by the tutor. The tutor guides, and then you can do your own assessment and then find out whether you are learning or not. Another type is quizzes. This is a common practice. I think most of the students, especially in economics, have done this. Just to examine or test the student or a class informally using short questions where we expect students to be answering these questions. Kind of selecting, some of them would be, maybe we expect you to choose either yes or no, or to choose from ABC, whatever the right answer that you would have been required to choose. Another type of assessment is called case studies. And the case study is just an in-depth study on one person or group or event. And majorly these case studies are conducted using projects. And we expect that at the end of the project, once you have investigated, then you come up with the results that you are going to present to the tutor that is requesting that. Another type of assessment is called term papers. And a term paper is a research paper written by students of an academic term, usually at the end of the semester. So you are given a question, you are given an assignment, and then you research and write it and present it when the semester is ending. Presentations, this is a common practice, I think, in MAKERERE, where students come in, they are given questions, and then they research and present to other colleagues in class. Group collaborative work, this is where group work is done. The students are divided in 2 groups, and they are given questions to answer, and then they present this work in groups. And also, I think this group collaborative work is rampant at MAKERERE. In engineering courses, I have seen students moving into, especially during the practicals, moving into groups. You are assigned a responsibility, you are assigned work that you do together and then present either to the tutor or to the rest of the students. The final written examination, this is a normal practice. You have been doing this since P1. This is what you write and do at the end of the semester. Now, the final report, usually this is done in is a written report at the end of the research project. Usually this is the project, the final reports are usually in projects. And once the project is done, then you provide or you submit a research, you submit a final report. And this report will be having things like methodology, like the executive summary, like the general findings, and then the conclusions and recommendations on what you have found out. Then finally, the open book exam. Open book exam, I think, are rampant in the School of Law. You are given a question, and then you take home. You can be given 1 week, you can be given 5 days, you can be given 3 days, and then you go and write this exam and then submit. Open books also can be given in three hours, but you are allowed to take in all the materials that you want, and then you write the exam and submit. But the problem with open book is once if it is a three exam, and you think you are going to consult all the books, you're not finished. Maybe if you are given a week, then it could be possible that you can consult and write this exam. But of course, as you can see, open book, it will be a creative exam whereby you may not copy and paste. And so these are types of assessments that online tutors can be working on, can be using to assess the students. And so we expect that as we go online, some of these types will be used.
Nazarias has gone off. Nazarias has gone off. Harriet, do you have the slides up and we just progress? Because Nazarias has gone off. Harriet?
Even mine was going off. I don't know what is happening. Okay, Nazarias, thank you very much. Yes, you're back. Hello? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Very sorry with the network there disrupting us, but I think Mr. Nazarias had taken us through the approaches to e-learning, the different approaches, and then he went ahead to look at different assessment methods that can be used in e-assessment. I think we...
Harriet, in
yes,
the
please.
meantime, can we all mute our videos? Because other colleagues are also having challenges with network. Please mute your video. Amasiko Soul, I can see you, beautiful smile, but please turn off your video. Let me also turn off mine.
Okay. Members, I hope we have heard Prof. Let's put off our videos. It affects network, especially when we are many like this. So, oh, thank you very much.
Harriet, I am back. Hello, Harriet.
Oh, yes, yes.
I am back. My network is poor here, but I think I had finished presenting what I wanted to present. I don't know whether there are questions, but the questions I think can come at the end of the session.
Yes, we are going to have a session for reactions. I think, thank you very much for that presentation. I was actually telling them that you had finished your last slide on approaches to e-assessment, as well as the different methods that can be used in e-assessment. Okay, thank you very much for that. You have questions, you have something that is not clear, we are going to have a session to respond to that. Just write it down and keep it. The session is coming. Okay, I think we go into our last session, which is requirements for e-assessment. I don't know whether Juma is here with us.
Juma was probably locked out if he delayed to come in. Juma?
I think so. Juma and Sam, I think they have been locked out. I don't know, Prof. I will stand in for Sam. I don't know whether you can handle.
Okay.
Juma's area, yeah, requirements.
Okay. All right. I'll quickly go through this. This seemed to be so obvious, but for some people, it may not be that obvious. For majority of you from CEDAT, this will probably be an automatic thing because for some of your courses require you to have this, to have a laptop or a desktop computer. We talk about the mobile phones as well. But the challenge with the mobile phones is that you can access information, you can access data, you might even be able to go through some things, but when it comes to doing activities, it's very hard for you to do the activity using a mobile phone. And that's why we normally say it's best if you have either a desktop computer or a laptop. Tablets also do work, but tablets also have their limitations. And of course, we need a reliable internet. We've just seen how the unreliable internet can be problematic. This is a national issue because the infrastructure, the backbone for internet access in the country is poor. And so that affects our access to the internet. I always say when I travel, for example, and go home, I'm made in Teso. So when I go to Teso, I always have challenges with internet access in my house and in my father's house. So it's a problem everywhere. I don't know whether Nazarias is still in Rukunjiri. He had a loss in the family and he went there for burial. And if he's still in Rukunjiri, he said internet was still very, very unstable. And even if you have that access to internet, you have to regularly pay for data. And that can be a challenge because income levels in the country are varied. We have a lot of people in the country who live below the poverty line. And if they have struggled and managed to send a child to school, there are no guarantees that data will come easy for them. The other issue, of course, is computer skills. That's why I'm saying that in CEDAT, this may not be a huge issue, but in a number of other colleges, computer skills is still a big, big challenge to many students. But even in CEDAT, there may be students who are not adept at working with their computers, adept at maneuvering the keyboard and really working well. I remember when I went to do my master's in the UK many years ago, I had learned to work with a computer. I had taught myself a little bit of typing using the typing tutor, but I was not very good. So we do this first assignment. I couldn't afford to hire someone to type it for me because they were charging, I think, £10 or something like that for an assignment. So I decided to sit through and type the work myself. And I obviously made a lot of errors. And when the lecturer was making comments and saying people don't know how to proofread. And I was just amused because I did not see myself as one of those. But when the assignment came back, I was one of those that had lost some points because of my poor computer skills. The other requirement, of course, is a conducive environment for study. This is also, we know, is a challenge to some students. If you are staying in a place where you are sharing a room with so many siblings and you're not able to find quiet space for reading, that can be difficult. But we say that ideally, this is what you ought to have. There are some hands up, but we will attend to questions shortly. The other one is that you have a university email. And if you do not have a university email, one can generate a university email. And we've been given a website here. Depending on the time, maybe we'll be able to demonstrate this. And then you have a student number, and you should be able to get onto the Mwele website. I know that in CEDAT, some lecturers have been sharing notes and sharing assignments and so forth on Mwele. So even where there might not be complete courses accessible on Mwele, you have been working with this before. So it shouldn't be much of a problem. But if you have issues, if you have challenges, we have made arrangements with the IT people from the different colleges to attend to students, to support students, get Mwele login credentials. And we expect that this should be happening. In the subsequent training sessions, we are going to have practical work with how to maneuver through the different assessment tools that are available on Mwele as students. We are doing training for staff for them to navigate through these tools as lecturers, and then we are continuing training with you to maneuver through these tools as students. So I don't know, are there any, let's do a quick poll in the chat. If you have a Makerere University email address already, please type 1 in the chat. And if you do not have an Makerere email, type 2. Okay, we have a few people that do not have Makerere University email addresses. Let's see. I was prepared for this, but let's see if we can do that. S is SOS. What's the address? Harriet, can you read for me? Oh, no, I have to get it from here. So if you enter the web address SOS, let me put it in the chat. So if you type in that web address, it will bring you to this page. And this is the page that we use to generate our email accounts. If you're a student, you go to the student account. If you're a staff, you go to the staff account. And someone is asking in the chat, what's the difference between the MAKERERE email and the
university account?
Email? In the past, for example, in the past, my email was aguti@cees.mac.ac.ug. And you'd find someone, maybe Mugisha at Choose or Arinaitwe at CEDAT. But everyone in the university, staff, students, academic, administrative, support staff, everyone in the university will now have a name .mac, no longer at CES or sorry, Aguti. For example, mine is now jessica.aguti@mac.ac.ug. So if we go to you then go into the student account and you say, if, for example, you want to change your password, it is here available. You do not have a MAKERERE email, you go to activate my webmail account. This is where you'll be creating. So you enter your student number here and then you submit. And then you follow the different dialog boxes until you will get your a new email address. For those of you who have at CEDAT, you have to migrate your email from at CEDAT to at MAKERERE. Do I remember the website for that? Harriet, do you have it for migrating?
We have it on that slide, I think.
No, it's not on this slide. For migration is not here. No. I don't remember what it is. Let me see. Let me try something. So is this clear? How you get your email? Somebody still need help?
For those who are missing, I think it's clear. Majority of them had email.
Yeah, and
so
this
they can support each other.
It should be okay. You can monitor the chat and see. And recovering passwords also, I think your IT people in the colleges can help you recover emails. But let me just try to see how you migrate. I think it's migrate. Yeah.
What do you want?
Can you mute yourselves, please? This is the website is here for those of you who have the CEDAT emails. Let me put this in the chat. You should be able to therefore migrate your email from at CEDAT to at MAKERERE. Because now you have to do that. You have to migrate your email. Sorry, this one is going to the wrong people. I've been sending information to people in the waiting room instead of to people in the meeting. Apologies. But I hope you, so the migrate is there, the website is there. Then when you type it in, it will bring you here. And here they are explaining why we should migrate, and it will explain what will happen to your old email account. And then what if I do not want to migrate? Well, then you won't be able to continue accessing. And before you proceed, you have to tick, I have read and understood. And then you tick and then you can proceed. Let me do that. And then migrate my webmail. So you enter the old account here and then you migrate. So this you
maybe we can use one person who wants to migrate to give you the data.
Okay. There are two people that have raised their hands.
There's Maureen.
Yes, Maureen, do you want to migrate?
No. Okay, there's somebody who has shared Kalema.Ronald at CEDAT.
Kalema?
Kalema.Ronald at CEDAT.
Kalema.Ronald at CEDAT.mac.ac.ug. Kalema Ronald has been flagged as a student account. If you are staff, please contact your college system administrator with your staff ID or write to this. So now,
Last lady.
Kalema, you may have to go to the IT people at CEDAT. I'm not so sure why it is not doing this automatically for students. But this is the website anyway.
Okay.
Yes, we had two other hands. Is if it is to do with this, the email.
Kevin Asimwe.
Yes, Kevin
Asimwe at CEDAT.
No, but it's going to be the same thing because it is flagging this as a student account.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe I missed a step.
Oh, because, is it because you're the one entering? If you are staff, you must have missed something. You clicked staff, maybe.
I may have missed something. But the website is here. I didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
But I think let's just say that if you have issues, you can go ahead and try this later on. We've given you the website. If you still have issues, if you still have challenges, you go to the IT people at CEDAT and they will help you with migrating your email. Okay. I think, Harriet, that is all I can say as far as the requirements is concerned. And we can now handle questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
We have 30 minutes.
Nazarius? Mr. Nazarius?
Yes, Harriet, I'm back.
Okay, I'm going to handle this session of questions. If you could,
there's no problem. That's the monitor. Because if they put a video,
just take out, take note of.
But the problem.
Harriet, unmute yourself, please. I muted everyone.
Sorry. Yeah, I was saying, Mr. Nazarius, I'm handling this session. If you can help me take note of the outcome of this as a way forward at the end of the meeting. Yeah. Okay. Students, we have had presentations, 3 presentations since we started our meeting in the morning. Professor took us through what assessment is all about, the 2 concepts of assessment and e-assessment. Mr. Nazaria shared approaches to assessment, to e-assessment, and also went through various methods of assessment. And then we have finally looked at the requirements for what you need to to be able to do the assessment, and more so because our assessment, if we are talking about the assessment, much of it is going to be done on our own learning management system, which is called MAKERERE, which some of you are aware of, and maybe you have already done some work there. So the requirements to do assessment as far as MAKERERE is concerned is the last part the professor has just shared. You must have an email address. If you have the old one, it must be migrated, and all those things that she shared with us. So we know that there are some people may have some questions or clarifications to be made, and we are here for this. Okay. I'm going to start with Mulindwa. I see your hand up. Unmute yourself and tell us what is not clear. Mulindwa, unmute yourself.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I just had something like these people who are trying to migrate, they shouldn't choose the migration. There's that link you had sent. Yeah, there is other link whereby they put their student number and then they get the sso.mark.ug. So they put their student numbers and they get the new email.
Can you share that in the chat room?
Yeah, sure. Let me share it.
You mean you have tried that and it has worked?
No,
Yeah,
Harriet.
it worked.
Yes,
what
please.
Mulindwa is talking about is what we had shown earlier.
Yes,
when you
that
type
one.
in SOS,
yes,
is it .mark or is it again?
Yeah. sso.mark.ug.
SSO.
Dr. Siminyu is in the house.
Very much so.
How did you
We were
enter?
looking for you. Where were you?
Somehow I got in late.
Now my email is not working. My network. I think this address is wrong.
No, you have 3 S's.
They have to be 2.
Dr. Sam Siminyu, this was your session to handle.
This is what I had shared earlier, where I was saying that this is where you generate a new account. But if you want to migrate, to change from the old account from CEDAT to wherever, then you create a new account. But like someone was saying, maybe you just go ahead and create a new account and forget about the old one.
Yes.
So this is where you enter your student number, then you submit and you follow the steps until you have a new email address.
Is that what Mulindwa? I don't know whether.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we use to migrate from our old emails and we go to the new emails. We're putting our student numbers in there and then they just send for us the email.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mulindwa, for your contribution. So I believe that I know that you have platforms out there. You can continue supporting each other to migrate. But those who are stuck, we have IT people in the schools and colleges that can help you to sort out this. I'm going to invite Dr. Siminyu. I didn't know that he had come in. He's the coordinator of CEDAT. He will introduce himself and then also have this session.
Thank you very much. Could I request those who...
I've muted everyone. Please unmute yourself, Dr. Siminyu.
Thank you. People keep unmuting themselves even when they have nothing to say, and they interfere with the flow of things. Please do not unmute yourself until you have been granted permission to speak. Aston, please mute yourself. Let's exercise some discipline. Thank you very much. Those with videos on, can you turn off your videos? Those with videos on, Wandera Ibrahim, your video is on. Can you turn it off? Now we will continue with the exercise of receiving questions and reacting to them from the participants. At the top of my list is Mulindwa John Baptist. You can unmute and
Mulindwa has just finished. I think the next one is Agaba.
The arm is still, the hand is still up. Then Aston, it's your turn. Agaba, Aston. Aston Agaba, your hand is up. And now he has muted instead of speaking. Can we listen to Aston? Are you saying something?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Like us who I just entered late, but when I had reached, I saw some requirements to participate in this e-learning. Can he use a mobile phone?
Okay, your concern is whether you cannot use a mobile phone for e-assessment. I think we will have opportunity for Dr. Guti to respond to that. Any other issue?
I'm done.
Okay, Aston is done. Joseph Fodongo.
Good morning to you all. My name is Joseph Odom. I'm the class representative of Civil Year 1. So my first concern as a class representative, I would like to inquire on how we are going to receive the recorded sessions, because as Dr. Guti mentioned, there are a number of students who are locked out. Then my other two concerns are we've had the internet issues that came up with today's session. So my first concern is, in case, for example, we have students, because we can't be sure that everyone is in a place that has a stable network. In case we are scheduled, for example, to have an assessment, let's say tomorrow, then this student tries to log in, access, let's say, that assessment, then they fail to access it. Are there remedies for such a scenario? Then my third concern is, given the fact that we're going to have these assessments online, should we guarantee that this is going to take upon the 60% of the exams that we were supposed to do? Or when we report physically, we shall have the backup for the exams? With those answered, I will surely be grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Odongo. You have raised 3 questions. There was one that came earlier from your colleague. So we will respond to this before we entertain others. I see very many hands coming up. The issue of recordings, that one, we are actually recording the session, and we should be able to share with all of you whose emails we have, but definitely with the leaders who can then share them in your WhatsApp groups. That one will be done. Mobile phones, I'll attempt a response, but give my colleagues also opportunity to say something. The challenge is really whether you can do all the kind of typing that you need to do for an exam within the limited time you have on a mobile phone. It's a little cumbersome. I know I have seen students who actually do an entire assignment on a mobile phone, but it's an assignment, you don't have the same time constraints. So a laptop or a desktop with a keyboard that is easier to work with would certainly be a better tool to work with. Of course, you can also have an iPad or something bigger than a mobile phone, and that would make things a lot easier. For learning purposes, Mwele is available on mobile phone as well. But then for assessment, we would insist that you find appropriate equipment, even if it means borrowing or getting to somewhere where it is available. That would be more reliable than you having to gamble with a piece of equipment that is harder to work with. Yes, we have been to Senate to put our case for flexibility, because like I was supposed to be with you to coordinate this from the beginning. And by the time I logged on, I was told there were, the number had clocked 500. And I couldn't until some people dropped out. That's when I got admitted. So there may be issues. Somebody is in a place where power fluctuates and they're in the middle of an exam and the electricity goes off, or the internet goes off, or the equipment has a problem. Fortunately, Mwele would record how far you have gone, and using analytics, we should be able to say you were in the exam for this long, and then probably something went wrong. But Senate is yet to pronounce itself on remedies. We asked colleges to discuss this and get back to Senate with a possible way forward. But previously, you know that remedial exams were banned after the term system. So you do the assessment once, and if you miss it, you wait when it was next offered. So we are bargaining for flexibility there. I hope Senate will come through and permit so that probably you don't do the same exam, but an opportunity is given to you to do a remedial immediately after that and still be considered on your full requirements. The issue of the percentages, whether you assessment will still carry 70 or 60% like it has been, that is also under discussion, and the colleges will pronounce themselves on it. We actually think that progressive assessment in online learning is as valid as the proctored exams which you sit when there's somebody to supervise you. Once it's done well, the assessment progressively is done well, then it may not be very necessary that they carry the same, that they carry the weights that they are. But the regulations are already written, they are approved by the National Council. So any adjustments to be made have to go through the same process. Senate has to approve and then forward the same to the University Council for approval. And then once that is done, then these adjustments can be made. You will certainly be briefed when this is going on. Professor Guti and any other member who would like to add to what I have said before we go on to the next set of questions? Is Professor Guti saying, yes, please?
The recordings, as I said at the beginning of the session, the recordings will be made available. This is being recorded on the cloud. So the moment we have the link, we will share it with the leaders, the student leaders in CEDAT. Pretty much the way you receive notification of the meeting, this will be the same way you receive the notification for the link to the recordings. And Dr. Siminyu, let me just answer a related question that was in the chat. Well, why not do live streaming on YouTube? We will take this to the office of the director, IODEL, and see whether if the university can permit us to do this. So we will definitely pick this up with the director to see how how especially the meetings with the students would be available on Zoom, but also being live streamed either on YouTube or via Facebook. We will discuss that with the director of the Institute. I think Dr. Siminyu has handled the use of the mobile phone very well. It is more about the functionalities available on the mobile phones on one hand, but also the ease with which you can actually do certain things using a mobile phone. Maybe because I'm ancient, I find it very hard to read a lot of text on mobile phone, and I cannot type with the same speed that I can type on the keyboard on the mobile phone. So it becomes difficult to manage that. If a student has connectivity challenges, I was in Senate when the proposal for e-learning was discussed, and this issue of connectivity, the reliability of the internet and all that came up, and the university is aware of this, and we will definitely have to make sure that we take that into account. The analytics will help us, but also I think during the previous lockdown, the university approved, the university council said if a student for one reason or the other is unable to proceed with the order, the emergency order, that student should write to the university, and the student will be allowed to come back on when the course is next offered at no penalty. I'm not so sure what that means, whether it means you don't pay fees, whether it means, I'm sure it means your return will not be counted as a retake, but I don't know what the other no penalties imply. So that is already in the approved regulations for the implementation of emergency order. The other issue related to the distribution of marks that I would like to highlight here is the fact that we are not talking about all exams being online. There is an acceptance and a recognition that there are practical subjects. In CEDAT, the engineering courses, the fine art courses, and there are practical courses where someone must work practically either with human beings or with animals or with machinery or with equipment, whatever it is. That has to be provided for. So actually what Senate has done is to approve a blend of strategies for assessment. Online or e-assessment is only one of the elements of assessment. But the reason we are focusing on providing training to students and staff on e-assessment is because it is the new man in the block. The practical sessions, we've done that before. The whatever it is, face-to-face interactions, we've done that before. But doing some of these things online is what is the new kid on the block, and that's why we are focusing on it. So the distribution of marks, if, for example, you're supposed to do a practical task, and in the regulation that accounts for 20%, then you will have to do the practical task. What now the university has to work out is to negotiate with the National Council for Higher Education, with the Ministry of Education, with the Ministry of Health, to see how that can be organized. Because, for example, right now, the university has been having numerous meetings with the Ministry of Education, with the National Council for Higher Education, and the Ministry of Health on how to bring the medical students on board. Not just medical students, students who are doing health sciences, including those from COVAB, how to bring them on board to make sure that they continue to study, but in a manner that respects the SOPs that have been put in place. you cannot simply go ahead and say, open the campus. No, you have to plan. And if we are going to do the practicals, it might be in phases. But those modalities are being discussed by the different colleges that will make their recommendations to Senate, and then Senate will use that to submit a proposal to the University Council. Once it is approved, then the university will apply to the National Council for Higher Education for permission to implement the blended examination strategies, which will include e-assessment. Dr. Siminyu?
Thank you very much. We will continue to receive more questions. I see Emilio's hand up. Emilio, please, can you unmute and speak?
Okay, good morning to everyone.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I had like 3 questions, but 2 of them have been so far asked by my colleagues. Maybe my worry is sometimes some of us students in CEDAT, we do from Mwere, but we did a quiz on Mwere, and then on time of submission, it froze. So I'm like, how are we going to handle that problem? Because it seems Mwere doesn't handle massive submission at the same time. So it flows, and by the time it got like a bit stable, then the time was out. So how is that going to be handled? And maybe another concern is about the new email. Are we supposed to use this new email that you've talked of to migrate to, or I can still use my old email address for Makerere, for instance, at cedat.maka.ac? Thank you.
Thank you, Emilio. Can we have another question from Maureen? Maureen, please.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Maureen.
I have 3 things to talk about.
Briefly, please.
One is about this point of when next offered. We all know we have tried part of this e-assessment and some e-learning in the previous semester, because we had the first lockdown and some students as were coming back to do exams. Some didn't do them, some were confused with this term of when next offered. And I realized that some of the students had to let go of the semester, relying on the comfort zone of when next offered. But to my surprise, when we returned for this previous semester, most of those students were asked to stay put because they had not done a semester. So I don't know how they're going to handle that or what they are planning to do about it, because I've seen that it's not really reliable, or they can eliminate that phrase when they are talking about what to do. And another thing is when this e-assessment thing is going to commence. Because I say if it is to be for this semester, we shall still have a lot of challenges, ranging from the requirements, connectivity challenges. I'm very sure most of the students have not even attended this training. So it's really about time to catch up with all this. So I would request that we put this thing to trial, but we don't rely on it for this coming assessment, the immediate assessment that we're going to have for these coming exams, because most of the students will really be left behind and you will find it's not effective. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Professor Jessica, for your clarity.
Thank you, Maureen. Those are very pertinent questions you have raised. We'll hear one more person and then respond. And that is Sandra. Sandra Nakato, please unmute and speak.
Dr. Siminyu, we have only 5 minutes to end.
Okay, we'll hear that one person. Sandra, are you there? Looks like Sandra is not in the house. There was Faisal Teg. Faisal, can you unmute and speak? Okay, it looks like these fellows are not, they put up their hands and then they are not attending to what we are saying. Let's respond to the questions that were raised. The issue of Mwele's freezing. Is somebody speaking?
Everyone. Cindy is talking, but
good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Good morning, Cindy, but your network is really poor.
Good morning.
We hear you. Can you go ahead?
Good morning. I have an issue. Let me look for network.
No, we don't have time for that. Can we respond to what was raised? Cindy seems to have a network problem where she is.
Okay. All right, thanks, Dr. Siminyu. The question of the Mwele capability, Mwele freezing now and again, the university has actually progressively improved Mwele's capability in terms of acquiring more servers, and there is another project which is going to enhance this even further. So as we go along, Mwele's capability is getting better and better. It should be better now than it was in the first lockdown. Now, the issue of migrating emails, this was a decision taken by the university council, and we are implementing it. There are no negotiations now, whether you are a staff member or student, whether to migrate or not. You simply must migrate. And the reason you need the university email is because to register and to get an account on Mwele, you need a university email. And the university email that Mwele is taking now is the Jessica, for example, jessica.aguti@mac.ac.ug, not at CES. So I just encourage you, it's good to debate with yourself, but go ahead and get the Makerere email. The question of this when next offered. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot have our cake and eat it. We do not know how long COVID will last. The Makerere does not take decisions regarding the closure of the institution or the closure of the university or the closure of the country. We are told by President, His Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, that I have closed all universities, schools, colleges, all educational institutions, and we close. So we cannot simply decide as Makerere University that we are reopening tomorrow. And when we say when next offered, we don't know. We don't know when COVID will go. We don't know when COVID, whether there will be another lockdown or not. In the literature, there are people who are talking about COVID interruptions going to last for between 2 to 5 years. So really, to expect the university to say the next offer is tomorrow, I think is not being fair to university administration. And if the university regulation is that for you to do fundamental accounting 2, you should have done fundamental accounting 1. If you don't have those basic concepts covered in fundamental accounting 1, you cannot proceed to the concepts covered in fundamentals of accounting 2. You must do 1 before you progress to 2. That is logical. And that is why we are saying we know things are tough. We know things are difficult, but do your best to fit within the current setting, because otherwise you risk losing out completely. And then whether e-assessment should be implemented this semester or not is related to what I have just said. Number one, I said earlier that it is a blend of strategies for assessment. E-assessment is one of them. And the colleges are actually meeting now to discuss options that will apply to specific programs within the specific colleges. And those are the proposals that will go to Senate, go to Council, go to the National Council for Higher Education for MAKERERE to be permitted to run examinations. That is the national requirement, and we cannot go around it. So if there will be probably e-assessment this semester, depending on what your program requires. There is no option. Just as we said, Odell came to save education in the current circumstances. E-assessment has to be done. For you to get your degree, there must be assessment. So that has to be done. Dr. Siminyu?
Thank you very much, Prof. Akuti. So members, thank you for your passion about these issues that have been raised. I see some hands still up, but our time is up. So I would like to request those whose hands are still up, please type your message in the chat. That will give us a record to which to revert when we, and then we can continue our discussion out of this meeting, because our time is fast spent. Can I give back the mic to the coordinator for the day?
Kamoga, please. I know it's very interesting to see your screen, but we've run out of time. There's going to be another meeting, and there are questions you can. I'll leave the chat. I'll leave this open for about 1 or 2 minutes for you to type in your questions in the chat, and then we will pick this up, and some of this may be addressed in the next meeting that we shall have with you. Harriet, when is the next meeting? Maybe you'll make that announcement.
I think it's Tuesday or Monday. I've not seen the schedule. We always meet students, I think, Monday.
Harriet, we usually meet Mondays and Thursdays.
And Thursdays, yes.
So the next meeting will be on Monday.
Yes, same time. And of course, we are going to communicate to them as we share the recording. We will also communicate the date for the next meeting.
Harriet,
in any case, they will have to register for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Harriet, before you conclude, I have noted that I think it's good that in our next meetings, we bring some of the administrators from the colleges, either e-learning coordinators or one of the administrators, because some of the questions are really college-based.
Yeah. Maybe we'll invite the e-learning coordinator to attend and the ICT person. It will
from
be
the college.
From the college.
Okay.
And some of these IT questions, if Juma had been able to come in, would have helped us. But I suspect he waited to come in up to the last minute and was locked out. But I think, Harriet, next time if Juma is going to come in, then you raise this matter with him well in advance. But the next meeting is not going to be a repeat lesson. The next meeting is to discuss practical issues on Mwele. So don't cut the class thinking that they're just going to repeat what they shared last time. We are moving on to something new. Yeah, Harriet.
Okay, thank you very much, colleagues and students, for your patience. Those who have been here since 9, we appreciate your turn up. This has been a huge turn up. Actually, we've closed out so many students. I think if it was just open, we would have over 700 students here. But it's unfortunate that we couldn't admit more than 500. But like Professor shared, we'll see what can be done. But we are going to have more sessions, like he's saying. The trainings take about 3 days, 3 consecutive, not consecutive. We'll be like we've started today. We have 2 more trainings to go. Then we'll finish that cohort. Then we can take in another group like that. So those who have missed, there's another chance. Don't think you have missed and you cannot catch it. And of course, we have the recording, which is going to be shared. If you missed it today, you can still catch up with after listening to the recording, you catch up with the next meeting. Okay. Thank you very much for coming. We have another meeting with another group. Nazarius, can you summarize? Way forward.
Are we taking any pictures? But there are so many frames.
Yeah.
There are so many frames, but we can probably take 1 or 2 frames just to, if people turned on their videos, maybe we can take 1 or 2 frames.
Okay. So those who are still around, can you please turn on your videos? Turn on your videos, we take a picture. Okay, Prof, you're taking the picture?
Yes, just give me 1 minute. I take another frame. Okay, another one, just 1 more, and then we shall be done. Okay. I think that is enough. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Let's meet next week on Monday, same time, to continue with the training. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Hello.